So the race for the title over in the Eredivise appears to be over, as of course Ajax open up a whopping lead over the chasing pack. But what about the runners-up spot? Who's in the mix for that? We'll take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction show. Today we're taking a look at match number 28 out in the Dutchlands, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button and you bang it with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Dutch football related, world football, we're going to go here under one Ruski. That's right, of course, Ajax keep on keeping on with an impressive 5-0 win over Den Haag. But what about that runners-up spot? Who's in the mix? Who's not? We'll take a little look in just a second. Of course, a VIP shout-out to the Banda Brothers, the Patreons. You know who you are. That's right. Thank you for your continued support behind the scenes. I really appreciate that. Executive VIPs, best friends of a life, brother from another brother, whichever way you spin it, you're vital to this channel. Thank you for your continued support. And if you want to be vital to the channel, check out the links down below. I'm on Patreon right there. It's on the screen, patreon.com/Roverseas. You can join for as little or as much as you like. And of course, it all goes towards supporting the channel. Of course, hopefully providing better content, especially over the next year or so, because we've got some big plans that will need as much help as we can get. So check it all out down below, patreon.com/Roverseas. But anyway, here we go, lads. Take a look back at how I got on, and then, of course, how you guys got on. And the last match, which, of course, was before the international break. Heerenveen against Twente, ended up all square. Nothing to report here, 0-0 in the end. Meanwhile, of course, that was on Friday, the 19th of March. Meanwhile, on to Saturday, Sittard against Twente, ended up as a 1-0 win for Utrecht. Sorry, Sittard against Utrecht was a 1-0 win for Utrecht. Andre Dameljon scored for, of course, Utrecht, giving them the W. 3 points for them. Bit of a surprise though for Feyenoord. They could only muster a draw against strugglers FC Emmen. 1-1 in the end. Orkun Koku on score sheet, of course. Mikkel de Leuven on score sheet, of course. Emmen giving them the W, or at least it feels like a W. 1-1 draw in the end. 3-1 for me. Meanwhile, Waalwijk against Groningen ended up as a 3-1 win for Waalwijk. Wow. Indeed. Turs Oosting with a couple of goals there. Silius So as well. Ahmed El Mahouzidi getting the goal for Groningen as they slipped up on this one. 2-0 for me. Not good enough. Meanwhile, Zwolle against Venlo ended up as a 2-1 win for Zwolle. That was on Sunday the 21st of March. Slobodan Tedic on the score sheet with Thomas Lamb as well. Roy Gelmi on the score sheet, of course, for Venlo, as they got nothing out of it. AZ Alkmaar, though, smashed their intentions for the top two as they pissed all over PS Plodiv in a 2-0 win for them. Jesper Karlsson also with 2 Cooper Miners as well, giving AZ Alkmaar the W, and of course PSV the defeat. Meanwhile, Vitesse Arnhem against Wilhelm ended up as a 0-0 draw. Nothing to report here. And of course, Heracles Almelo against Sparta also ended up as a draw, 1-1 in the end. Ray Vlet on the score sheet, of course, for Lennart Thiel getting on the score sheet, of course, for Sparta, as they could only get a point out of it. And of course, Ajax absolutely ran riot against Den Haag, 5-0 in the end. Goal scorers on the day: Davian Rensch, Brian Brobbery, of course, Anderson, Alves, Dusan Tadic, and of course, David Klassen. 5 different goal scorers as they came out with a 5-0 win. As you can see, I got myself 4 out of 9, which is not great, but of course, it gets me in the mix. The table looks like this. Of course, Ajax scores 11 points clear over the chasing pack, of course, with the game in hand as well. PSV and AZ Alkmaar level on points in second. Of course, Vitesse Arnhem 3 points adrift in fourth. Feyenoord, Groningen, and Utrecht are in that sort of whatever that playoff thing at the end of it. Of course, Venlo on the cusps alongside Emmen and Den Haag are going down as it stands, but of course Venlo still in that discussion alongside Wilhelm as well. But of course, that's my picks and of course the table. What about you guys here? Of course, it's the criteria. Bish bash bosh. Let's take a look at how you guys got on there. Of course, Ala Jojo, you did good. As for Omaji Mandi, you also did shy. Of course, Yanni Buster did bits. Of course, Armstrong did poop. Russell Foss, he did alright. Of course, Game Charlie did great. Of course, Jelly Van Veen did not so good. Of course, James PCFC are great. You're not too bad. Of course, 123 did okay. Ultra Omir, absolutely fabulous. Of course, Omar Esquivel also did good. Of course, Matt Gunner did bits. Tom Stain also did very well. Of course, okay did okay. Not really. Of course, Joran Lenders also did very well indeed. Of course, the table looks like this for this week. Jelly Van Veen, don't even look at it. Don't even look at it. But of course, if your name is Yannick Buster, take a bloody look at it, because you are the king for this week. That's match number 27 out in the Dutchlands in Eredivisie. Not the biggest league this week, or not the biggest league this season anyway. But of course, big points in the grand scheme of things. Of course, what's that done to the table? Of course, Yannick Buster with the 5 points. What's he done? How close is he? He's up to second. Still 4 percentage points clear, adrift of Russell Frost, who has got just the 4 points this week. So 1 point closer for the likes of for Yannick Buster as for the likes of Matt Gunner and and Magic Monday pretty much stay the same. Really. Magic Monday actually dropping a point this past break. Of course, Frosty leads the charge, of course, but will he be at the end of the next round of matches, of course, which take place on Easter weekend. VVV-Venlo kicking us all off on goes Groningen. That'll be on, of course, Saturday. Played each other the last 6 2 apiece and 2 draws last round in Venlo. Was a 2-1 win for Venlo back in, of course, September 2019. John Jaboa on the score sheet. That's Tony's son. Of course, Evert Lindhorst as well on the score sheet, of course, Venlo as they took the 3 points. Adrian Hurisic on score sheet, of course, Groningen as they lost last round in Venlo. Of course, picture this season in Groningen was a 2-1 win for Groningen. Patrick Justin on score sheet with Jorgen Strand Larsen getting on the goal score sheet as well, of course. But Venlo's goals coming from Georgios Gimakakoumas, of course, the division's top scorer, though. Venlo losing their last 8 matches in Eredivisie, also conceded 2 goals in 7 last 8 matches as well. They're coming to this 6 defeats on the spin for Venlo. Meanwhile, just won the win in the past 6 games for Groningen. That was against Fortuna Sittard at the back end of Feb. Look at the bookies, the odds on this one we have. Give me a minute. I'm finding it. Where are you? I can't see it. Where are you? Here it comes. Here it is, of course, VV-Venlo 13-5 as the victory, 13-5 as your draw, of course, 2019 on Asia Groningen. For me, though, I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Groningen, and if they were to get that win, they could go from 6th closer to 5th. As for Venlo, they're down to 16th, but a win for them, they could have moved up to 50th. But 2-0 win for Groningen for me. Next, of course, my boys, Twente up against Vitesse Arnhem. Played to the last 6, has been 1 win for Twente, 4 for Vitesse, 1 draw last round. For Vitesse, in Twente, it was a 3-0 win for Vitesse back in, of course, December 2019. Brian Linson with a couple of goals there with Nua Deco get the goal, of course, for Vitesse. Played this season in Vitesse was a 2-0 win for Twente back in, of course, February 2021. Quincy Meng on the score sheet with Tiris Van Leuven on the score sheet, of course, for Twente as they picked up the win. Of course, heading into this, Vitesse just 1 defeat the past 6 games. That was against PSV Eindhoven at the back end of Feb. Meanwhile, just 1 defeat the past 6 games for Twente. That was against AZ Alkmaar a couple of games back. However, without a win in 5, drawing a lot of the games are Twente. Look at the bookies' odds on this one. 90-10 for the victory, 12-5 is your draw, 11-8 is your Vitesse. Vitesse coming to this, of course, where are they? Then 4th win for them, they can move up to 2nd. As for Twente in 8th win for them, they can move into 7th themselves. Going to go with a 2-1 win for FC Twente and the Eskida, of course, to give them a big old 3 points and put a bit of dent in Vitesse's top 2 hopes. Next, of course, Willem II against AZ Alkmaar. Played each other the last 6, 4 for Wilhelm, 1 for AZ, and 1 draw last round in Wilhelm. Was a 1-1 draw back in, of course, October 2019, of course, goal scorers on the day. Who was it? It was, of course, Mats Kuhert on the score sheet, of course, Tins Cooper Minus on the score sheet, of course, AZ Alkmaar. Murray Bodu got himself sent off. Played this season, of course, in AZ. It was an 8-goal thriller going in favour of AZ with a 5-3 win in the end. Wilhelm, though, undefeated in the last 5 matches in the division, of course. AZ, though, winning 6 of the last 7 as well. And in a game which will be difficult for them to break down. 5 wins in the past 6 games for AZ. Of course, the only hiccup was a defeat to Vitesse. As for Wilhelm, just 1 defeat in the past 6 games. That was against Utrecht the 19th of Feb. Look at the bookies' odds on this one. We have Wilhelm coming at you 11-2 for the victory, 29 on is your AZ, 7-2 is your draw. Of course, Wilhelm in 15th, but a win for them to close it in on 14th. AZ are 3rd, and a win for them they can move into 2nd. They'll get the win, 2-0 win to break the hoodoo against Wilhelm, who, of course, in a good bit of form themselves. Next, of course, we have Sparta up against the PEC Zwolle. Played the last 6, 1 for Sparta, 3 for Zwolle, 2 bloody draws. Last round in Sparta was, of course, a 1-1 draw back in, of course, August 2017. Yus Mukta on the score sheet, of course, Zwolle, Robert Murian as well on score Sparta. This is in Zwolle, of course. It was back in, of course, September, 4-0 win for Zwolle. Zwolle, though, losing the last 3 away matches coming into this. In fact, just 2 wins the past 6 games for them. As for Sparta, unbeaten the last 4, pick up 2 wins and 2 draws to boot. Have them probably moving in the right direction. Of course, bookies odds 21-20 is your Sparta, 12-5 is your draw, 30-5 is your Zwolle. Zwolle currently sit in, of course, in 13th, but a win for them it goes into 12th. Sparta are actually in 12th, and a win for them it can move up to as high as 10th in the table. Tight one, this one. Going to go with a 1-0 win, though, for Sparta in the end. Into Sunday's match, we have Heerenveen taking, of course, Ajax. Played each other, of course, the last 6 has been a 1 for Heerenveen, 5 for Ajax, no draws. Last round in Heerenveen was a 3-0 win for Ajax, of course. That was this season in the Dutch Cup, with goal scores coming from David Klaassen, Dusan Tadic, and David Neres on the score sheet, of course. Last time I played, though, in the league in Heerenveen was a 3-1 win for Ajax as well, back in, of course, March 2020. Though Ajax have actually won 10 of the last 11 matches in the Eredivise, and they've also scored at least 2 goals in 8 of the last 9 matches matches as well. They come into the 6 on the spin for them in all competitions, including the Europa League, beating the likes of Young Boys Bern. As for Heerenveen, just one win the past 6 games. That one win was against Den Haag, of course, back at the start of March. Look at the bookies odds on this one then. Heerenveen coming at you, of course, 11-2 for the victory, 5-2 on Asia. Ajax, of course, 4-1 Asia draw. Heerenveen are down into 10th now, but I don't know if they can move up to 8th. Ajax, of course, top will be top no matter what. Going to go with the 2-1 for Ajax on the road, another 3 points, and again, edging closer to the title. Next up, of course, Heerenveen taking, of course, who are they? They're taking, of course, what did I say? Den Haag taking, of course, Utrecht. Let's get into this one. Of course, picture the last 6, 1 for Den Haag, 3 for Utrecht, 2 draws. Last one round. For Den Haag was a 4-2 win for Utrecht. Robert Zwinkels with a big for OG. Lex Immers with a big for OG. Gergo Kirk and Nick Venmo on score sheet, of course, for Utrecht in a 4-2 win. Goals come from Adrian Manjas and Erik Fragenberg getting the goals for Den Haag, but they lost this one, of course. Picture of this season, of course, in Utrecht was a 1-1 draw back in, of course, December. Utrecht, though, have actually won the last 4 away matches. Den Haag have failed to win the last 16 at home. Coming to this, 3 defeats on the spin for Den Haag, losing to Heerenveen, losing to Heracles, and of course losing to Ajax. 3 wins in the past 5 games for Utrecht. Had them wobbling because, of course, a couple of those games in amongst all that, they did lose 2 of the past 5. Look at the bookies odds on this one. We have Den Haag coming at you, of course, 61 for the victory, 52 on Asia. Utrecht 50-4 Asia draw. Utrecht are down in, of course, 7th, but a win for them, they can move to 6th. As for Den Haag, they're in the drop zone. They're going down at the moment, but a win for them, they can move up to 17th in the end. 2-0 win for Utrecht, 3 points in the bag, move the chains. Next, of course, PSV Eindhoven take, of course, Heracles Almelo. Pleasure of the last 6, of course, 5 wins for Eindhoven, nothing for Heracles, and 1 draw. The last round in PSV was a 3-1 win for Heracles. Sorry, 3-1 win for PSV, back in, of course, at May 2019. Wout Druster with a big for OG, Nick Vergemijner and Donio Marlin on the score sheet, of course, Eindhoven giving them the win. Josie Koenigs on the score sheet, of course, for Heracles as they lost. Played to though, this season in Heracles was a 1-1 draw back in, of course, September. PSV, though, undefeated in 18 last 19 home matches heading into this. Just 1 defeat the past 6 games for them. In fact, just 1 win, though, the past 4. That 1 win was against Sittard, drawing with the likes of Ajax and Feyenoord, and also losing to AZ Alkmaar. Meanwhile, Heracles coming to this unbeaten last 4, picking up 2 wins and 2 draws to boot. As for the bookies odds, PSV 3-1 for the victory. That's 3-1 on, 4-1 is short, 8-1 is your long shots. That's Heracles. Heracles coming to this in 9th. With them, they can move up to 8th. As for PS Bloody V, they're 2nd. A win for them, they can close it in on 1st. Going to go with a comfortable win for PSV, 3-0 in the end, and a big win to keep them in the hunt for top 2. Next up, of course, Emmen up against Waalwijk. Of course, played to the last 6. We have 3 wins to Emmen, 2 for Waalwijk, 1 draw. Last round in Emmen was a 2-1 win for Emmen back in, of course, January 2018. Anko Jansen with a couple of goals there as well. Johan Voskamp getting the goal for Waalwijk, with Gugule Indefe getting himself sent off last round. That was, of course, back in January 2018. Emmen, though, failing to win 25 of the last 27 matches in the top flight. Of course, Waalwijk, though, failing to win the last 8 on the road. Look at the bookies odds on this one. What do we have on this one? I can't see it. Well, who are we doing? We're doing Emmen. Emmen, of course, 64 for the victory, 95 is your RKC, 94 is your draw. RKC, wow, we're getting 14th, but with them, they can move up to 13th. As for Emmen, they're actually in 5th, 17th, but with them, they can move closer to 60th. They're unbeaten the last 5, of course, pick up 2 wins and 3 draws to boot. Going to go with 2-1 for Waalwijk on this one, which will be 3 points for them and move them a little bit further away from that drop zone. And then wrapping up, it'll be Feyenoord up against Fortuna Sittard. Of course, played to the last 6, 5 wins for Feyenoord, 1 for Sittard, and no draws. Of course, last time around in Feyenoord was a 2-0 win for a 2-1 win for Feyenoord, of course, back in February 2020. Goal scores on the day, Steven Berghuis on the score with Robert Bosnic as well, with Mark Diemers getting the goal for, of course, Sittard as they lost. Also, picture of this season in Sittard, it was a 3-1 win for Feyenoord, who are actually undefeated in the 21 of the last 22 home matches, whereas Sittard have actually won 5 of the last 6 matches as well. Is that on the road? It is on the road. Of course, heading into this, just 1 win the past 4 games for Sittard. That was against VVV-Venlo, of course, midway through the month of March. As for Feyenoord, just 1 defeat the past 6 games. That was against AZ Alkmaar. However, just 1 win the past 6 as well. That was a 6-0 win over VVV-Venlo. Of course, 4 draws at the past 6 games for Feyenoord as they scramble as well. Bookies odds on this one. We have Feyenoord 94 on for the victory. 7-2 is your draw. 11-2 is your Sittard. Sittard's coming into this, of course, in... Where are you? Sittard, they're in 11th. And with them, we can move up to 8th. As for, of course, Feyenoord in 5th. And with them, we can close in on 4th in the end. Going to go with a 2-0 win for Feyenoord on this one. 3 points in the bag and move the bloody chains. If I'm right, which I hope so, this is what the table will look like at the end of it. Of course, Ajax lead the charge. 11 points clear of course, PSV with a game in hand. AZ Alkmaar to 3rd, or, of course, remain in 3rd. And, of course, then the chasing pack. And then VVV-Venlo, of course, is not out of the woods just yet. Emmen, Den Haag going down as of right now. Of course, that's what I think. Of course, be sure to get your picks in nice and early for this one, and we'll do it all again very, very soon. Until then, though, be sure to check out the links down below on Twitter, Facebook, and, of course, Patreon if you want to support the channel in another way. That's the best place to do it. Also, give me a video. Make sure you smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, and also give the little bell a little tinkle. Of course, make sure you don't miss miss a bloody beat. That's all I've got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, until then, I'll see you all next time. Until then, be safe, mask up, and again, back, of course, with some more picks later on. Until then, I'm out.